Hey everybody. Don't know if you can hear that. That's a cat snoring. I don't want to wake them up, so I'm just gonna leave them alone. So just ignore that. Uh, I don't know. I'm just checking things. No one's here right now. No one's in the chat, so I don't know. Hopefully we'll get some people here. Um, oh my god, that is very loud. I don't want to wake up anybody though. Like I want to be rude. I don't even know who's snoring. Someone is. It's a cat. I don't know which one though. Whatever. I'll just ignore that. Here, I'll just move my mic closer to like back here. I guess that might help. It'll be annoying to me, but maybe not to you guys. Anyways, so that's never gonna not bother me. I will never. Yeah. Whatever. So I haven't done a podcast for a long time. It's been like a few weeks, so I want to do one again. And I was kind of in a shitty mood yesterday. I don't know. I was just kind of not in the best mood. I still kind of. I don't know. Sorry I had to stretch. It's still like 8 a.m. Sorry about that. So yeah, I'm still not in the greatest mood. I don't know why, I'm just not. But we're gonna try and do this and have some fun today, maybe, or have an interesting discussion or something. So I guess first of all, the breakfast of choice for today was actually nothing special. All I had was just cereal, because I just didn't really care. That's all I usually have, just cereal. I don't really think about it. But I'm gonna get into a bit of a cereal rant here. Yes, that's right. Jaden's gonna be doing a cereal rant. So so I drink the milk after I eat cereal, right? That's something that a lot of people do, I'd imagine, because like why waste it? So I did that, but there's a cereal that I like called Oreos, which came back fairly recently, and it's a good cereal, really good cereal. But there's a problem with it, is that when the milk is like almost gone, like when you're almost done with it, it leaves like the little like gravelly bits of the cereal left, and it's not nice. It's like yeah, it's like drinking cement, and yeah, it's not good. But yeah, that's the cereal rant. We're off to a great start today. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I just haven't really been doing. I haven't really been doing anything. School will be starting again for me soon. Uh, you know, nothing really has been happening really. I've just been kind of. I don't know. Maybe just because of the school starting. I don't know. But I'm just kind of just been always in like a. I don't know. Sort of weird, funky mood. But I don't know. Who cares what I'm talking about? Who cares about what I say? Oh, I guess I'll say that. Well, actually, this will go into the discussion later. Never mind. Um, I guess I'll say something about the previous podcast was that I had a it did one about Nintendo Switch Online, and that was the last episode. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but god damn it. Can I ban this guy? Okay, whatever. So in the last episode, I talked about Nintendo Switch Online. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I had a theory, a game theory, if you will, and I theorized that they would do a separate service. Well, I theorized that they would do a separate service for different systems, because whenever you go to like I mentioned this before, but whenever you go to like a video of like them showing off their NES Online service, like new games they're adding, it's almost always more dislikes than likes. Like they're badly received. Oh, yeah, they don't do very well. And I don't know if you're gonna hear. You know, actually, I have an icon. Might as well use it. Okay, I think I can maybe talk for a little bit, but hold on. Okay, so yeah, um, a lot of people for the online service, most people were asking for a lot of people were asking for Earthbound to get added, like the NES Earthbound. A lot of people wanted SNES games, N64, GameCube. They wanted more than just NES games, and I'll be honest, I love a lot of NES games, but some more variety would be nice. But I feel like they're gonna do something different for SNES games. Feel to do like a separate app. They'll probably charge more for it. Um, because for some reason they think they can still. Well, I mean, I guess it's their games. They can sell them if they want, but just uh, I don't know. Like it would be awesome if they could all just be for free, but knowing Nintendo, they'll probably make those cost a bit more than the NES ones. And the NES ones are basically free. Like you're getting a bunch of free games. Like when you think about it, it's actually, I mean, it's a cool idea. Just it's nice to get a bunch of those just for free with the online. Um, but if the online was free, would those be free then? That's something to think about because I'm not actually sure. Because the online was always free beforehand for Nintendo, but now you gotta pay for it. So I'm not sure. Um, I'm not sure what they'll do next with releasing your old games. I don't know if they're gonna still do like a. I don't know if they're gonna maybe do some sort of virtual console. Maybe I don't know if they're gonna bring that back. I don't know if they're just gonna do NES and nothing else. Just don't care about the other stuff because they do that sometimes. It's not unreasonable to imagine. And here's an idea that I had that they should have probably done from the beginning. Um, actually, I don't even know what it was. I think. Oh yeah, I think what it should have been was that they had. Well, I mean, I don't know how licensing works. I don't know if this would even work out in the first place. But I had an idea where they could have a few games for free, like off at the start. Like they could just have like a bunch of free games just off the bat for the service. It would just be for everybody, like everybody. It wouldn't just be for online exclusive. Everybody could have it. They had like the NES service, or like it was like it could be like a separate shopping app, I guess, for the Switch. So you get like a few games to start off with for NES. It'd be some classic ones. You get like Mario and Zelda, and you get like the ones that everyone knows. But like, get some of the black box titles, maybe some Famicom stuff. You like the more simple games, but still good. So you just get those for free. Maybe like 20 for free, maybe. Kind of like what they did with the service initially, but have them all be actually good ones. And then they can have like a separate stores if you want to get more games. Like it'd be like $1 for NES, 3 for SNES, 5 for N64, something like that. Just have like a separate store just to get more games. And I mean that's something that's I don't know, it could work possibly. I don't know. Maybe I'm making no sense right now, but I don't know, just something I kind of thought of. So that's just to add on to the last podcast. Something just an additional thoughts. Choo choo. Come on now. Anyways, let's get into the main topic of the episode. I've wasted enough time. I just gotta find a here. Okay. I don't know. I'm just kind of plugged this morning. I guess I don't know. Anyways, the Atari 7800 is the topic for this episode. And first of all, what is the 7800? This is going to be from the Atari Age website. So the in 80, this is just from Atari Age. So AtariAge.com/7800. I'll probably link this in the description. So in '84 was when Jack Trammell, who previously had owned Commodore, I believe, or owned them afterwards. I don't actually know who they owned them. No, I think Trammell owned them after. I don't remember. But he bought out Atari, or the home division. And before that, GCC, who is known for developing Miss Pac-Man, or co-developing at least, using the Pac-Man hardware. They were making a 7800. They were designing it. It was gonna have, basically be a much more upgraded 2600. It'll be an improvement over the 5200, which was just the Atari 8-bit computers, just smushed into a game console. It would have be able to show more objects on screen, have more colors, backwards compatible. It's going to be apparently a high score cartridge was planned, but never released. So yeah, this is before the NES hit the scene. So this is all before that. This is going to be in '84 when the console was apparently announced. But Trammell said no. They did not want to release it. I'm guessing probably because of the crash. I guess, yeah. I guess we'll just mention, just randomly, the computer in the house is kind of a weird spot. The computer is actually next to the bathroom. The dining room leads into the bathroom, and the computer is in the dining room, very close to the bathroom. So you'll hear some odd noises probably every now and then, but that's not my fault. I just can't help it. That's just how it's gonna be. So you'll hear some weird sounds every now and then, but just try to ignore those. Here, I'll turn this off. So yeah, the crash happened in '82 to '84 because of just poor quality games, poor quality systems. I imagine that the 5200 probably at least partially caused it, just for being, a bad system. So they're gonna try and do, 7800 to try and, I guess, maybe win back consumers, which it could have worked. I mean, it was a much more powerful system. It was much closer to arcade games of the era. The graphics were actually pretty good for the time. Um, But by '86, when we were gonna release it, um, was when the NES went nationwide. Now the NES had already technically released in '85, to certain cities only. Like I think New York, New Jersey, and like what is New Jersey? Is that a city? I mean, I know New Jersey's a state, but it's like there's not certain. I guess three certain states. It's like a Jersey city. Yeah, three certain states. I think was like New York, New Jersey, and like I don't remember. Whatever. It's like the tri-state area. It was when it was released, I think, or whatever it's called. You know, look this up. I don't know. Oh, Pennsylvania, I think. I don't know. It was released. It wasn't available nationwide at first, but I made it nationwide in '86. That's what I'm trying to say. And so, let's see. The 7800 came out. NES came out. NES did um. Well, obviously now we know that NES did way better, but the 7800, I think technically was better in some cases, but the NES was just it had more third-party support. It had better games than the 7800 most of the time. It just it just had it was something it was arguably in some cases well the hardware was like more the system had existed since '83 technically since it was originally the Famicom, so people by '86 were better used to they knew how to handle the system better, how to make games for it. So when the 7800 came out in '86, they didn't have enough time to really get to work with it, I guess, because they just kept on holding it back and didn't really do anything with it. And a lot of the games for the 7800 were arcade ports. I mean, the NES had arcade ports too, but a lot of them were arcade ports of games that were relevant at the time, that weren't like games from like a few years back. There's still some ports of classics, but like you still got like Pac-Man on the Atari, not Atari, but on the NES. Galago's on NES. You got some of them, Joust, Defender 2, Millipede. Just ones I can think of. Qbert was on NES, but by the mid '80s, you're getting more complex games. I'm trying to find like a list here. Yeah, so we'll just go like at let's look at just like arcade stuff here. This is really poor so far. Let's go to like apparently 1449 is apparently like okay, that's not right. We'll look at just the year like '86. Let's look at 1986 because this is when the NES was like nationwide. This one is 700 nationwide. So just to take a look at some of the games that came out in '86 that were ported to these systems. So we got 720. That was an NES game. So we got stuff like 720. You got Arkanoid. You had these are more complex arcade games. Arkanoid, I guess, was a breakout game, but a highly sophisticated breakout game with different power-ups and stuff. So, still pretty cool for the time. Bubble Bobble, a classic for many people. Yeah, there's a trying to find something else here. Uh, Fantasy Zone got ported to the NES later, thanks to Tengen. Got Gauntlet 2. Gauntlet came out, I think, the year prior. So we got those. We have Atari Warriors, Kid Nicky, uh, yeah, Life Force. Life Force was a pretty popular game for the NES, and trying to find some other ones here. Some of these report to other consoles and computers. Rampage. Rampage was on both NES and 7800. Rygar was on NES. Renegade was on NES. Solomon's Key was NES. Just trying to look here. Trojan was NES as well. And we got Wonder Boy, which would eventually become Adventure Island. And if we go up to 85 even, let's go back a year prior, you'll see a lot of games, I think, that became NES games that were more, yeah, some of the more popular titles for the NES. So, we got, like, City Connection, which was a NES game. Dig Dug 2, you know, simple arcade game, but, you know, better than Dig Dug 1 in some cases. It's more sophisticated than Dig Dug 1. Gauntlet, of course, like I mentioned before. Gradius, Green Beret, which would become Russian Attack, Gunsmoke, you know. I don't need to go on too much longer, I guess. But wasn't Commando on here earlier? Yeah, Commando. That was also on 7800, but NES version in some cases is better to some people. But you see, you get some more complex arcade games. Like, this is what was relevant at the time, because in the early 80s, you got stuff like, you know, you got like the Miss Pac-Mans, the Galgas, the Dig Dugs, Pole Positions, Xevious, you know, Joust, Robotron. Those are all great games, but at the time they weren't exactly the most relevant games. So just from the fact that they weren't relevant, I think hurt the 7800. So I think having more ports of like more of the more modern arcade games would have helped a lot, because the NES had a lot of those, and having more, I guess, like just standout games, like ones that you wouldn't find on like the NES. Like, I don't know if this is true, but there was a rumor, I believe, that or something where Pac-Land was going to be on the 7800. I don't know how true that is, but I think I mentioned someone mentioned that somewhere. I think Pac-Land could have been a great choice for the 7800. It's like a Pac-In title, because the NES had Mario. NES had Super Mario Brothers. So Pac-Land could have been like, you know, like the 7800 Super Mario Brothers. Could have been like that. And Pac-Man's already a well-known character at the time. Pac-Land had came out in arcades '84, so would have made sense to have it on there. It could be their like, big platforming hit. Even better if it came. It would be even better if it actually came out before Super Mario Brothers too. So yeah. So I think lack of third-party support, and just the lack of having relevant arcade ports hurt 7800. I think if it had more third-party developers, it could have helped it a lot. Maybe if like Namco got on, maybe if more Japanese companies got on it, because Atari was primarily an American thing. You didn't really get any Japanese Atari games, but maybe if they could get like Namco on board to make some stuff, possibly, like it could be like, Namco could be like their Rareware or something. Like Pac-Man could be like their like big game, Pac-Land. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. Like, the thing is, the NES had such a like large amount of third-party developers, and they had strict regulations on what games they could make. So oftentimes, certain companies were just stuck to making NES games, from what I can tell. So you didn't get a lot of those NES titles on 7800. You got a few of them, but you didn't get many of them. So I think that would have helped, I guess, just to have if they were able to snag those third-party companies before Nintendo did. I guess I don't know. I'm struggling to think of words. I didn't write notes for this, but yeah. Let's move the mic closer to me, I guess. Excuse me. So, hardware-wise, the 7800 was in some cases better than the NES. I think it had more colors than the NES did. It had different graphics modes. I don't really understand a lot of them, but they had different. There were some different graphics options you could have. The sound chip was the same as the 2600, which really hurt it. Um, the NES was kind of known for having more sophisticated sound than a lot of home systems at the time. So, the Poke chip, which used in a lot of Atari arcade games and the Atari 8-bit line of computers, was very sophisticated for the time. And I think if that was in the 7800, it would have helped it a lot. Get some more rich sound for some games. A couple games used it, like Commando did, Ball Blazer did. Like they had it into their cartridges, but if every game had that sound, it would have helped a lot. I think just sound wise, you could do more complex stuff with sound. You would have more music, better music. You know, it just would have been. It would have made sense. But I'm guessing they added the TIA in for I guess compatibility with 2600, which that was a big thing. That's good that they did that at least. Like having it be compatible with all your 2600 games, like, that's a genius move right there. Like because you don't have to, like that could be your 2600. It could be your 2600, and you can play new games on it. Like that's just a great idea that not a lot of systems do. Um, I was gonna mention something else actually. I was trying to see, trying to find this. I'm gonna try and find this. Here we go. This is back to like the sort of like well, I guess we'll talk about the pack-ins anyways. Go back to the software library. The pack-in for the 7800 was infamously chosen to be Pole Position 2, which it's a good game and all. I like Pole Position 2 a lot. Um, not the best choice for a pack-in title. It's not really something that you would have. It's not something that really defines the 7800, like some other games might have. And Nose for a Gamer, a YouTube channel I watch, made a post on a forum Atari.io saying that Miss Pac-Man would have been a better choice. Miss Pac-Man would have made more sense to be as a pack-in because Miss Pac-Man was more popular than Pole Position. Miss Pac-Man was a huge success. It was not on the NES at the time, or really on any home systems besides 2600 and 5200, I believe. It wasn't on a lot of home consoles at the time. So, if they could, and this is before like the Tengen version would have came out for NES or Genesis, and there's a he found an issue from Electronic Gaming Monthly, which cites Miss Pac-Man as being a top 20, like top 20 most sales for Genesis games. Like he was one of the best selling Genesis titles of the time. So, and that resulted in a port for the SNES too. So Miss Pac-Man was still a big success even in the 90s. It was popular. So if they had that on the 700, it would have possibly made more sales. I think it could have. I still think that having some sort of Pac-Man game like Pac-Land, maybe having both of that, maybe like a combo cartridge, like like Nintendo did, do that before they did. Like they had Mario Duck, and they could do like the Pac-Land and I don't know, Galaga maybe. Or Pac-Land and Miss Pac-Man. There you go, there's a combo for you. Miss Pac-Man and Galaga. You know, and that could work quite well. I'll link all this stuff in the description, actually. You know, I'll link the Atari.io post and like the Atari Age thing. So yeah, software library could have been better. Hardware could have been better. Still impressive for the time though, graphic wise. Just sound was kind of garbage. It should have came out at a better time, I think. So it just came out too late for it to really have a chance. I think homebrews, like recent homebrews, like Ricky and Vicky, which I actually have a copy of now. I think those and Pac-Man Collection and like, you know, a lot of homebrews that were made have showed off the capabilities of the 7800. Like Ricky and Vicky is a fantastic game that really pushes the limits of the 7800 and really it's more like an NES game honestly than a 7800 game. So if there was games like that came out back then, it would have been a really strong competitor if it had more like original titles like that and more complex games. But just it was just too simple for the time. I think people just weren't interested. Um, in a lot of those stuff, a lot of those kind of games. Um, the controllers were a big issue. Controllers are horrible. They're really, really bad. They have like a weird like remote shape. The joysticks are really stiff and mushy. The buttons are like squeaky and awful. It's a bad controller. So, in Europe they had the NES styled Euro pads, which I'll actually get a picture of here to show on stream. Save an image of that. So yeah, had the 7800. This is what they had in Europe, which is actually very much like the NES controller, and I think would have been way better because you can even like take off the stick if you don't want that. Like you could just just I think you could just unscrew it. It would have been much more comfortable. I think. Um, it's not like some weird obtuse joystick or anything. It doesn't have like a keypad. You know, having just two buttons is good, but the joysticks were just awful. So this would have been way better. So, what have we learned today? I guess just if you have a system, just release it. I mean, there's a lot of systems that didn't really do great when they first came out. Like the 3DS is the first one I can think of. Like it didn't sell very well when it was first released, but after like a while, when they started making more games for it, like it became a really big hit after like its first year. Like after like a year or two on the market, it started to get really big. They did the price slash, I believe, like the second year. Got more games coming out for the 3DS. It became really successful. So I think if the 7800 just came out in '84, they just stuck with what they got, just released it, gave it some time, had Miss Pac-Man as a Pac-Man game or Pac-Land or whatever, some sort of Pac-Man game. Fixed the controllers, had better sound, had more third-party support, and more original games. It would have, I think, easily beat out the NES. It would have been great to have back then. It would have been a great system. Still is. Homebrews are giving it giving it new life. But back then just couldn't stand a chance. So, that's all I have for today. No one really showed up, but I guess that's fine. I guess people can watch it later. But I'll go ahead and post this. So there hasn't been a name for this podcast yet. I haven't really thought of a title yet. So I have the name a podcast form, Google form. So I'm going to yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and post this. I'll post it in the description as well when it's just done rendering or whatever. So you can go on here And oh, okay. Let me just move that down. So you can click on that, or people in the chat can click on that link, I guess. And like I said, this will be in the description, of course. I'll post it there. So you can go on there and think of a name for the podcast. And I guess I'll just go ahead and post it in the Discord chat as well. Sure, post it there. So if you have an idea for what the podcast should be called, because I don't really have a good name for it yet, please let me know. I would greatly appreciate it. That's all I have for now. I haven't done a podcast for a while, so I just wanted to do one today, just to do one. It's been a while. I do like the 1700 a lot, so I want to talk about the 1700. And yeah, that's all I got for now. Actually, I might do another one in the future, hopefully, if people like this one. No one really showed up besides this fool, Poppert EI. Why do they have two I's in his name? That's dumb. Anyways, yeah, that's all I got for now. So I guess I'll see you guys later. I don't know. Hopefully, will there be an episode 5? I hope so. I like doing this. I want to have guests come on sometime, like do like I don't know, like a group chat or something. Keeps moving this crap down. Of course, it's pronounced something dumb like that. Colbert the that's why. That's not at all how it's. Whatever. I'm going off now. I'm tired. It's like, yeah, I'm tired. I'm gonna go now. Goodbye. Episode 5, maybe. I don't know. Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. Bye.